I'm here today with longtime friend and landscaper David Gordon of Holman Landscaping here in Indianapolis, and we're going to talk a little bit about some water feature ideas for folks in the boomer generation who may not have the time or the inclination to fuss a lot. And I think one of our great examples is right here next to us. What are some of the amenities of having this porch style feature that we have right here?
Well, we don't want the fuss. And this, a small water feature like this has no fuss at all. It's a reservoir of water below with a pump that's recirculating the water. The water has to be maintained at somewhat of a decent level for the pump to operate. And that's pretty much it. Since there's no open water for leaves or debris to fall into, there's nothing to keep clean.
Right.
And so it's about as low fuss as you could get with a water feature.
Now this is electrical, correct? You actually plug it in?
It's plugged in, and so we've kind of discreetly hidden the cord. This is on a porch where when entertaining's going on out here, the water's going, it gives a nice soothing sound, drowns out some of the street noise which is going on around it.
Oh, good point.
And it's a visual, kind of a nice little visual thing too. And it's in a spot where it's intimate and really not the space for anything too big.
Let's go take a look at something else.
Sounds good.
Now, David, this fountain looks a little more complicated than the tabletop version we were just looking at, but it's really sort of similar with a larger footprint, right?
That's it. It's all self-contained, a recirculating pump, no extra bells and whistles, just a basin, water spilling over the side, creating sound, a nice visual element for a kind of intimate patio area. But here's the major difference between this and what we've seen earlier. There's visible water.
Right.
And that adds to the maintenance a little bit, because when you've got visible water, there's water for leaves to fall into, for debris to fall into. Now, it's not very big.
Right.
So it's very easily cleaned with with your hand if you want to, or a small net. And so anything that does fall into it can be cleaned out, but it's just a little bit more of a maintenance because typically you're concerned about how that water looks.
Now, David, what we have here is something that looks a lot less structured than the other examples that we had, but the basic premise is still the same.
This is what I would call a bubbling boulder. Okay. It's a boulder, no two alike. That's one thing that's unique about this. If you pick out it, and believe me, the client and I spend a lot of time looking at different rocks, looking at different colors, different textures, some with more nooks and crannies, a little more weathered.
Sure.
And we've settled on this one, and it really makes a nice focal piece in this patio.
These are some excellent examples of low maintenance fountains, and I really appreciate you sharing these different styles with us. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure.
Thanks a lot. I'm Shannon Cagle, the Weekend Gardener for Boomer TV.